Dorothy Must Die, Chapter 39. Knox? I whispered urgently, caught up in the rush of the crowd leaving the throne room. I wasn't sure where he was, or even who he was. I was certain he'd be wearing someone else's face like me. I didn't want to lose him. Not now. A guy in front of me in a pointed hat with little bells on the brim, part of a juggling troupe, I think, looked over his shoulder at me. He had blonde hair and pale skin and a face I didn't recognize. "Not now," he said. His voice was all Knox. Luckily, everyone was chattering so loudly that they couldn't hear us. "Go to your room," he ordered. "I'll be there as soon as I can." When he pushed his way out of the sea of people and was gone, he must have known everything, that I'd jeopardized my mission in order to free Maud, and then Jillia was forced to sacrifice herself because of me. That's what he meant when he whispered to me. I was sure of it. I was responsible for Jillia's horrible fate. But how could I not have tried to free Maud? It was the right thing to do. At least it seemed so at the time. Now it seemed like I'd merely traded Maud for Jillia. The Scarecrow's laboratory wouldn't be empty for long. I felt sick to my stomach. Back in my room, I was on my bed, too full of nervous energy and confusion to even move. I picked Star up and held her, trying to calm myself down. It didn't work. I watched the floor, waiting for it to open. Instead, after what felt like an hour, but was probably more like 15 minutes, Knox's image appeared in the mirror, and he stepped right into my room. He was still in disguise, still had the yellow hair and round face that looked nothing like his own, but it was him. "Sorry," he said. "I hate to intrude." I wanted to wrap my arms around him. I wanted to kiss him. I wanted to tell him everything about how hard the last week had been and how lonely and confused I'd been without him. "Amy," he said, practically before he'd even fully materialized, "you've put us in a terrible position." He looked at me, and then his disguise faded away, and the Knox I knew, dark and angular and strong, stood before me. His eyes blazed with anger. "Jillia is going to die because of your pointless risk. She's been a loyal agent for the Order almost since the beginning, and now we've lost her. Because of you." I began to defend myself, but I didn't know how to finish the sentence. I turned my face away from his. "I had to," I said. "I couldn't let the Scarecrow do that to that poor monkey, and the wizard told me—" "The wizard?" Knox asked incredulously. "Why would you listen to anything the wizard told you?" "He was trying to give me a message," I said. "Trying to tell me that Maud was important, that the Scarecrow was using her to create something, that we had to stop him." Knox stared at me as if I was the stupidest person alive. "The wizard is a manipulator, Amy," he replied. "It's what he does. It's how he survives. You can't believe a word he says." "I can't believe a word any of you say," I snapped, my temper flaring. "Maybe if you've actually told me Jillia was my handler, if I'd known, you didn't need to know," he answered. "It wasn't part of the plan." "What frickin' plan?" I practically shouted. Days of frustration, of living in the dark, were beginning to boil in my blood. "You didn't tell me what I was supposed to do. You didn't give me anything to go on." Knox shook his head. "When will you learn? Some things are bigger than you, Amy." I didn't want to hear any of that mission before all else crap, so I shoved him. Knox stumbled back, surprised. "You just left me here," I yelled, jammed his chest with my finger. "I didn't know if I would ever hear from any of you again." Knox caught at my wrists, stopping before I could shove him again. "Do you think I liked leaving you here? Not being able to talk to you or see you, not knowing whether you were okay or not? I did it because I had to, not because I wanted to." "I'm just a chess piece for you people to move around," I hissed, tearing away from his grip. For a moment, I thought I saw a look of genuine hurt cross Knox's face, and then he drew himself up, his voice going cold. "And now you've ruined everything," he said quietly. "We had a plan, and Jillia was part of it. Now she's gone, and every second I'm here puts everything we've worked for at risk." You want to make me feel worse?" I asked. "Is that it?" "I thought I could trust you," Knox said. "I thought you understood what you were trying to accomplish." At that I had to look away. I was furious at him for putting me in this position. But it'd been my decision to free Maud, and ultimately that meant what happened to Jillia was on me. "I'm sorry," I said. "I didn't mean for Jillia to get hurt." Being sorry doesn't change anything, Knox said with a sigh. All it does is waste your energy, and you'll need every bit of strength for what's coming. I looked up at him. Are you going to tell me what that is this time, or are you going to surprise me again? The ball, he said, ignoring my commentary. That's when we strike. Of course. The gala that Dorothy has been planning for months was tomorrow night. If only everything could have held off for one more day, we wouldn't be in this situation. Julia wouldn't be in this situation. I'd tell you the rest of the plan, but at this point, there barely is a plan, he went on. Without Julia, we're going to have to change some things around. Julia was supposed to assign you as Dorothy's official cocktail waitress. Cocktail waitress? Seriously? Dorothy has been known to... Knox hesitated. Imbibe quite a bit. She's a lush, I said, almost laughing, thinking about my drunken mother sprawled on the couch and how often I'd seen her private waitress. I've been her private waitress. I would have been perfect at that. We can't control the new handmaid, whoever it is, so we don't know if you'll be in proximity, if you'll even be working the ball. I'll find a way, I told him. I'm going to be on my own again? Am I going to be on my own again? No, Knox said. I'll be here too, but you might not recognize me, and the rest of the Order and its allies will be close by. While Dorothy and Glinda are distracted by the party, they're going to be working to set up magical wards around the palace, to temporarily disable the use of magic. Dorothy won't be able to use her shoes. Glinda won't be able to use her spells. What about me? I asked. That means I won't be able to use magic either. You'll be able to use your knife, Knox said. But it won't be magic. It'll just be a regular knife. So I wait for the magic to go away. Then what? Knox looked at me like he was surprised I was even asking. Then you kill her, he said. I thought about it for a moment. This is your big plan? Stab her at a party? Yes, Knox replied. And you couldn't have told me that from the start? We needed to be sure about you, Knox replied. Julia was supposed to confirm your readiness, but... I thought of Julia, bleeding, one arm missing at Dorothy's feet. Oh, I'm ready. Disabling all this magic isn't easy, he continued. The palace is well protected. Just getting an agent in here is harder than you think. To place the wards, you'll need witches strategically placed all over the grounds. They'll only have one chance to act, and they may not be able to hold it for long. Without Julia, it's going to be much harder. You'll have to act fast. But I'll be here, and wherever you are, I'll be right behind you. I studied Knox. His face stoic, but his words warm. I couldn't figure him out. Was he using me, or did he actually care about me? Hell, I couldn't even figure out myself. Did I want to kiss him or punch him in the face? Great, I replied, hoping to be as inscrutable as Knox. He looked at me seriously. The anger in his face was gone now, replaced by concern. I won't let anything happen to you, Amy, he said. Everything we've done is for this moment. For you. Don't let us down. And then he stepped through the mirror, disappearing on me once again. I didn't have a chance to ask him how I could let them down if everything they've done was for me. It didn't matter. The end result was the same. I was getting out of this strange body, and out of this horrible palace, one way or another. And first, I was going to kill Dorothy.